All right, so I think this red shirt thing is gonna be part of the branding of this channel at this point. I'm literally recording 3 or 4 videos in a day, and yeah, I'm just kind of going with the flow. I don't feel like changing a t-shirt to pretend like I'm recording on a different day. I'm not. This is the same day. Actually, this is about 10 minutes since the last video that you probably watched, my most recent video, and yeah, there's no shame. No shame. I'm just kind of grinding at this point. And if you guys think that like these off the cuff, like, you know, just me kind of winging it videos aren't working and I probably should write a script and all that stuff, let me know and I'll do that. But until then, right now, I'm just gonna kind of talk, and I think that this way I'm the most organic, and then that this way we can really have a true, genuine conversation. So that being said, today we're gonna talk about finances, and I'm not gonna try to get too deep into it. I am not gonna try to tell you some like financial guru stuff. Like, I'm gonna tell you very basic things that you probably should know, or things that that you don't know that might really help you, especially if you're in your young 20s. So a lot of this stuff that I'm gonna talk about are probably things that if you're watching this video and you've watched other financial advice videos, you probably have already heard of. So the first thing is have a budget. And you can do this in different ways. You could do like the envelope budget, or you can use like a budgeter app. So like I use YNAB for an example. You need a budget. That does have a subscription fee. It's not free. And but there are plenty of great free ones, like I think Personal Capital is one, and there was one that I used before this that I can't remember right now. That's also free. But there are much of budgeting apps that you can use, and each one of them is different. And I personally like YNAB the most, just because it prevents me from using 2 different apps. So with the way YNAB works is that you link your bank account to it, and then you link all your other information that you want to it, like say your credit card debt, your auto loans, all that stuff. You can link all that if you want. And essentially what happens is that once you link your primary account that you pay all those things in, it will import those in to the app tracker, to the budget tracker, and then you assign those spent categories to those transactions to the spending categories. And then depending on how much you budgeted for that spending category, it'll tell you how much is available or how much you overspent. And you can do all that, and it's really easy to set goals. I'm not gonna go deep into YNAB just because this isn't a YNAB video, but that is what I use. So the number one thing is use a budget tracker and kind of keep track of your budget, especially if you're an overspender. Now, if you're like the opposite and you're like almost a hoarder of money, this might not be an issue, other than maybe taking that money and hoarding it in a more efficient and productive way. But anyway, so that's the first thing. The second thing is to pretty much go through and see and find a debt payment plan. And what I'm saying is that don't go to a service and have them tell you to do a debt payment plan or anything like that. What I'm saying is that if you have debt, and if you have a lot of debt, to follow, you know, so in my opinion, there are the 2 really most popular methods of paying off debt. You have the Dave Ramsey way, which is the debt snowball. And then you also have the other way, which is the Avalanche. And essentially, they're the same concept. You are just reversing you're just kind of, not reversing, but you're kind of choosing what debt you want to go after first. So the most popular method is, or popular method in my social circle, is the debt snowball. And this is something that I don't think Dave Ramsey came up with it, but this is something he heavily promotes. And essentially what you do is you take all your debt, you write it all down, and you take the debt that has the smallest amount, and you pay that one off first. And once you pay that piece of debt off first, then you take whatever that payment was for that debt, add it to the next one, and do that plus the minimum payment. So for an example, right, say if I have 2 credit cards, the first credit card is at $500 and the second credit card's at $700. So both credit cards have a minimum payment every month of, we'll say, $30. So you do the minimum payment of your first credit card, which is the $30, and then obviously all the debts above these you're still paying the minimum payment on, but on the very bottom and the very first debt you're gonna pay $30 plus whatever else you can pay towards it. And once you do that, you take, we'll say you could only do $35 a month. So you do $35 a month every single month until you pay off that debt. Now, once that credit card's done and you go to your $700 credit card, which should be less by then because you are still making the minimum payment, instead of just saying, oh, hey, I have $35 extra every month, instead you're gonna roll that into the next credit card. So now that next credit card is going from $30 a month payments to $75 a month, 65, excuse me, math is off, to $65 a month payments. And you see how that gets faster. And then you take that $65 and say your next payment, your car payment at $100. Now you do, obviously that's a really cheap car, but just for easy math, now that car payment's going from $100 a month to $165 a month, and you keep snowballing it and rolling it and rolling it and rolling it until you pay off all your debt. Now the reason why he pushes this so hard and why this works for certain people that actually follow the debt snowball method is because you, at that very low point when you had all your debt and before you paid off that first card or that first piece of debt, you could already live off of that. So when that credit card gets paid off, it's not, oh, here's an extra $35 of spending money per month that I can put towards some, put towards like an extra dinner night or night out or whatever. Instead, it's like, well, you were already living with that debt and that minimum payment. So just continue living that standard and roll it and roll it and roll it until all your debt's gone. And that's essentially what the debt snowball is. So what the Avalanche method is it's the exact same method, but the difference is that instead of taking the lowest balance credit card debt or the lowest balance debt, you're going to go to the debt that has the highest interest rate. So in this case, it's usually a credit card. If your credit card is sitting at 24.99% or whatever it is, or you maybe have like a cash advance loan that's at a percentage higher than that, you take that 25% one and you pay that one off first, and then you go to the next one that's at 22, and then the next one that's at 21. And the Avalanche method is the most efficient way for you to not waste more money towards interest payments. But it may take a lot longer because you are that 25% credit card, if that's $3,000, but you have a credit card that's at 18%, that's $500, like obviously you're still going to be paying that 18% credit card. Now, again, you could do a combination of both of these methods, but just depending on what you want. Now, Dave Ramsey preaches the snowball method and I've done the snowball method twice at this point, and it does have a stimulating effect when you pay off a credit card. When you have that $200 credit card and you pay it off and it's just done and you don't have to worry about it, it's a great feeling, and it's definitely one of those things that's amazing. So for sure, the snowball method mentally is the better way to do it. I like to do a hybrid of both. So I like to take my lowest debt with the highest interest rate and to tackle that one first, and then the next one, and the next, and the next one. And so I do both. So that way I'm getting the best of both worlds. I'm getting that stimulus of, oh, hey, I'm paying off my debt, but also I am not, just shooting away money towards interest rates. So again, do what you want, and that was a really long explanation of how to pay down your debt. And of course, I would not pay down your debt until you at very least have an emergency fund of $500 or $1,000. $1,000 is great, and depending on your family circumstance, you might need more than that. But again, definitely check out Dave Ramsey. Definitely check out other financial channels. They will tell you how to pay off your debt and how to become debt free and get financial freedom, which is something that I am also on the path on. I'm not there. I'm not telling you this in hindsight. This is something I am currently going through. Like I said, this is going to be my third time going through the debt snowball because I was really I was dumb in my young 20s. In my mid 20s, I got smart. I got dumb in my late 20s, and now I'm in my early 30s and I'm getting smart again. So it's just one of those things where you have to keep that in mind. So another financial piece of advice, and I think this is going to be the last one because this video is starting to get long, is that maybe it's time to change your lifestyle. So for an example, I would argue that one of the main conflictions between my past relationship is that we kind of had two different lifestyles, right? She was very much the more traditional lifestyle where it's like, hey, let's have this stuff. We need, certain things for very specific tasks or very specific scenarios. And I very much was not like that. I am very frugal and minimalist in that sense. I do have a lot of stuff, don't get me wrong. And because I did fall into that trap with her where it's just like, oh yeah, we do need this really nice vacuum. Oh yeah, we do need both a Swiffer duster and a mop, and pretty much what I'm getting at is that maybe it is time for you to really consider what you actually need and what you just want and what society says you need compared to what you actually need. So a good example for this is that she liked to use softener I don't use softener. I don't use dryer sheets. I don't use name brand pretty much anything, unless you can show me, usually through like a YouTube video or through like actually physically show me that, oh, Tide detergent is superior to, you know, store brand detergent. Unless you can show me by how clean your clothes are, I'll buy store brand. Or if you can tell me that, oh, hey, this chemical is in the store brand, it's not in the Tide, and that chemical is known to cause cancer, then fine, okay. I'm not cheap. Like if you're telling me that this might kill me someday, like I'm going to change what I'm using. But that's another thing you have to think about too. And also think about, you know, where else can you cut costs? Do you need a Windex and a wood polisher, and a multi-surface cleaner? Or can you just buy the one multi-surface cleaner? Or you could do and this is a quick tip and cool hack, or what you could do is use watered down detergent, like dish detergent, because dish detergent, since it's used for food, is food safe. It's not overly like penetrative, or it's not like super like strong. So I mean, if you have a lot of stains, then that's one thing. And you know, and like it sprays well. So that's what I use now. Like she was very much into the Windex and the wood polish and the stainless steel polish and all that stuff. I just use dish detergent, and unless that specific item that I'm cleaning specifically says not to use certain types of chemicals, I just use that. And then also on top of that, another thing you can do is that instead of buying disinfectant like Lysol or like the disinfectant wipes, just take another spray bottle, fill it up 10% bleach, the rest of it water. If you don't like the smell of bleach, then drop in some like scent boosters or something, and not scent boosters from Downy, but like, you know, some like essential oils to give it like a lavender scent or whatever, and then spray that, and there's your disinfectant for literally what, $6, but you get a gallon of bleach, which you're only going to use 10% of the bottle with, and the rest is water. So it's just a lot of things like that could really help you save a lot of money, and definitely getting away from name brands. Now I'm not saying that like all name brands are bad, and I'm also not saying that all store brands are good, but you need to find that happy middle ground where what you're willing to spend. For me personally, I buy name brand toilet paper because I don't cheap out on toilet paper, but I'll buy name brand or store brand toothpaste. I'll buy pretty much store brand everything else. But yeah, just find that balance and see where you can cut. And that's pretty much it. So budgeting, paying off your debt efficiently, and then lifestyle changes are the best way to get you to your financial goals and to help you save money and essentially do what you want to do. Anyway, that's all I got. I would love to hear what you guys think, and I would love to hear maybe some other tips that you guys have that could help anyone else that's watching this video. Again, my name is Mikel Angelo. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.